Plaintiff William Riggle met the defendant through his witness, and he feels the defendant has taken advantage of him. William claims he agreed to sell a car to the defendant, but he failed to pay for it, so he's suing. Defendant Arturo Saldana says the day after he got the car from William, it broke down, and William refused to refund any of his money. Arturo is countersuing William for damaged and stolen property.
Start with you.
Yes, Your Honor, I met Mr. Saldana back in December. Mr. Saldana moved into my roommate's home, and I feel Mr. Saldana has taken advantage of the situation. He has borrowed money from Joe without any attempt.
Joe is your roommate?
Correct. Mm-hmm. And without any attempt to pay it back. Mr. Saldana.
How do you know?
Because it was brought up to me.
Joe told you?
Correct.
All right.
Mr. Saldana was growing pot plants in the backyard, and
you saw that?
Yes.
Which is legal in Oregon.
Go ahead.
At some point, the pot plants were chopped down by another person, and I started receiving texts from Mr. Saldana that I was been the one that chopped them down. And I just texted him, let him know that I had no part of that.
All right, and did that go any further?
No.
Defendant Arturo Saldana rented an apartment from the plaintiff's witness, and while there, the plaintiff claims Arturo was growing marijuana.
You can give me some background now.
I met Michael through Joe, his roommate. I moved into Joe's house. Where
do you know him from? I mean, y'all keep talking about Joe.
Oh, sorry. I met Michael through Joe.
And what interactions have you all had?
I know he's Joe's roommate, and that's pretty much about it. We have known each other.
No, why isn't Joe suing somebody?
I don't know.
You Joe, right?
Yes.
Joe sitting there smiling, got y'all fighting over him. Who you want, Joe? Him or him as friends? Go ahead. Joe's a popular guy. Go ahead, sir.
Joe's a nice guy. Like I said, I've known Michael for a very short time. You know, I did purchase a car from him for some amount of $6,000.
Okay, we're gonna get into the car. Sir, tell me about the car.
I sold Mr. Saldana my Toyota on March 31st for
how much?
$2,000 with the agreement that he would pay $200 a month. If he paid after the 5th of the month, he was to pay a $50 late fee. April came and went, and so did the 5th of April, and so I gave him a late notice stating, the payment was due.
Let him finish.
Okay. I never got any response, and then May, and the same situation, and probably the 10th of the month or so, I had offered, if you bit off more than you could chew, I'm willing to just take the car back now, and we'll just say this never happened. And he didn't want to do that. Around the middle of June, I heard through the grapevine that somebody has seen my car
sure are messy.
In the next town over.
Gossiping with Joe about the man's plants and about whether he repay his loans. Now you're hearing something in the street. What do you hear in the street again?
Somebody had called me and told me they seen my car.
It's out of the blue. Yeah, somebody. It's out of the blue. Hey.
That they had seen the car parked on a side street in the next town over. And so I had asked about it, and that's when I found out the vehicle had been wrecked. Okay. And so I asked Mr. Saldana about the vehicle, and he said, yes, he'd gotten an accident and that it was parked at a friend's house. So then it was impounded, and I asked Mr. Saldana about it, and he said that, yes, it was towed, and he was waiting to try to get money to get it out.
When was the last communication you all had about the car, and what was it?
Actually, August, I had asked Mr. Saldana about the car when it was towed, and I said, so are you going to pay? And he felt that he didn't need to pay, and so...
Did he say why?
No, he did not.
Okay, let me hear from you, sir.
It was starting at the beginning. I did give him $200 towards the car, and I didn't get a receipt or nothing from him, so I don't have proof of that. The vehicle actually broke down on me the next day.
Let's talk about payment. Oh, it broke down the very next day?
Very next day.
And what'd you do?
I had to pay to get it fixed. You know, it was probably 2 weeks down for about 2 weeks. I asked Michael, hey, since I had to pay this money to get the vehicle fixed, is there a way we can just kind of skip a month and go back?
How much did you pay?
$330
For what?
the thermostat and the hose.
What was it doing?
Overheating.
Worked well?
After that, yeah.
Okay. And then when you repaired it, you asked if he would reimburse or take it off of the payment, and what did he say?
Right. I asked him if he would just, and I even
What did he say?
said no.
So why didn't you keep the agreement?
I just didn't have the money to be able to pay him. So.
All right, good. At least you're honest so far. Most people would say, well, Judge, it wasn't any good, and it was as is.
Your Honor, I never received any money towards the car.
Not even $200? Not even a down payment?
Not even a payment.
Why would you give it to him without a down payment, though? You
Well,
didn't even know him.
because he was a friend of Joe's. And
Here we go again with Joe. Here we go. You're a crime boss, Joe. Everything goes through Joe. All roads lead to Joe. Go ahead, sir. All right, sir. So tell me what happened as of June with the accident.
I had liability insurance on the vehicle. Somebody had pulled out in front of me, and I hit them. And my airbags and everything went off in the car. By the time I came to, realized what was going on, that the other vehicle had taken off from me. And the vehicle wasn't able to chase whoever had ran from me. And there was a couple witnesses, but nobody had the plate.
Well, that's the time you should have called Joe.
I know.
Y'all don't know what to use Joe for. I'm an OG, so I know when I got me a crime boss, I know when to call. Hit and run is when you call the boss. Call the police second, call Joe first. All right?
Okay.
He said in August you told him no, you weren't going to pay.
I don't even remember speaking.
Okay, so you believe you owe, is that?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Once again, an honest guy. Why aren't you paying then?
Because the house he was managing that I was living in, when I had a move-out date, and a lot of my property got moved out for me into the backyard. It was damaged in the rain or stolen.
Okay,
Or
you were his tenant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what was the damaged property? You have a list of things?
Yeah, I have pictures here also. Pictures of a laptop and stuff.
And you asked him to reimburse for those things?
Yes.
And what has he said?
No.
Did he give you a reason that he didn't want to reimburse you?
Nope.
Did he tell you why he moved your things out?
No, he didn't.
Did you mention it to him?
Yeah.
And he just stood there
Yes.
and looked at you. He said, man, why you move my things out? He just looked at you. Did you move them out? He just looked at you. That how it went?
Yes.
So we don't know if he was involved at all because he never said anything about it. I bet you Joe was involved.
Defendant Arturo Saldana rented an apartment from the plaintiff's witness. And while there, the plaintiff claims Arturo was growing marijuana.
Sorry, why don't you tell me about his
okay,
property?
well, first of all, I was not involved in that. I was not even in town. A friend of Joe's.
I knew Joe was coming. I knew Joe was coming. I knew it. Go ahead. What did a friend of Joe's do?
Which was another roommate. Mr. Saldana was supposed to be out of the room so that the painters and them could go into that room. The other roommate came in and he put Mr. Saldana's things out in the backyard underneath the carport.
Okay. And what do you say to this?
I had a move-out date, which was the 10th, and this all started happening before the 10th, like on the 4th. And
You have evidence that it began on the 4th and that your contract...
I have transcripts
Let's
saying
see.
that he acknowledged the roommate was breaking into the house with an axe, and that he
The
was
roommate.
his friend, Joe's friend.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's friend was... All right,
Breaking
I
into the
knew
house
it.
with
I
an
know a
axe.
crime boss when I see one. I do remember we had thrown a couple of things away, but I mean, it was trash. This is you, sir. You implicated yourself, saying that you remember you used the word we, that means you're a cold man. Typical crime boss. Put the snitch up, let him snitch on himself, you take the case. I'm too important to the rest of the crew. Sir, you acknowledge, you said we. Tell me, explain that.
And when I was talking to him about throwing anything away, I was talking about the big pile that filled up the dumpster, not Mr. Saldana's personal things.
Is that true?
No.
You know anything about a pile being put in a dumpster?
Of my stuff and everything else went in there, sure.
Right. He said all of it went in there, and that's what you were talking about.
When I was there, Mr. Saldana was he was actually there putting his stuff into
I'm going to
storage.
accept that you knew about it and that you were complicit in it and perhaps involved, because you did not say any of that. You said, I don't know anything about it. I was out of town.
Yeah,
that was your response. Now suddenly, well, it wasn't that garbage. It was the other garbage. I knew about that, but I really didn't know about this piece. Sir, I'm going to grant your judgment for your car and late fees, because his only defense is that you threw his things out, or you're responsible for his stolen property. And had you not used that word "we" in there, perhaps you would not be responsible, but you put that in there. And I'll grant you, sir, you have any receipts for anything?
I don't.
All right. And I'm not going to accept your $3,000 then, because I believe it appears to be some of these numbers inflated based on the values that I would see. I'll grant you $2,000 and $2,350 for yours. Next time, don't have Joe taking you to rap. Have you take the rap, man. He's suing about his property. He was renting from Joe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was renting from Joe. Joe got you throwing the man's things out. You want to say anything, Joe? Nope. Crime bosses don't. Watch this. You want to say anything, Joe? State your full name.
My name is Joseph Cook. I'm just, here to be supportive to both of my friends. But I believe you just said $2,350. Did you mean $3,250? Or is it $2,350, right?
Yes, that's what he's suing for.
And $2,000. Okay, perfect.
I called them shots, Joe. That's right. Perfect. That's right. That's right, doctor. If the money man got to get it right. Look at him rubbing his hand. That's right. See, I know a gangster when I see him. Judgment for the plaintiff, $2,350 and $2,000 for his things. Have a good day.
Glad it's over.
Yeah, definitely. Put it behind us and we get on with our friendship.
I'm not a crime boss.